Today is Thursday, October 24th, 2018. I'm Lisa Otto with the Geneva Show Report. We are here in the police training room upstairs at City Hall for the review of the second draft of the comprehensive plan. And the room is not as full as we would have liked to have seen it, but we do have quite a few people here asking a lot of questions. Jackie Nish with Vanderbilt and Associates was not going to do a presentation. However, she's over by one of the maps, pretty much doing a presentation of what all the changes are or possible new things going on the map. So the first map is the current map that we already have right now, and the second map is the big focus, and that is the one where it shows the changes. And we have some people here asking a lot of questions with a lot of concerns. So yeah, we'll just share a little bit of Jackie Nish's explanation of the map.
He has been amending their comp plan pretty much every year for the last 10 years. And so when it was time to do the full update of the plan, there wasn't a lot of big changes to make.
What changes were made?
Yep. So
She got some asterisks on there.
Sure. So, where is it? I can't find it right now. Here we go. This property here, I think this is all shown for planned neighborhood. And right now there is a developer that wants to do a mix of single family, now I lost it again, multifamily and commercial here on Edwards. So they have come in front of the Plan Commission and Council and requested that change. They've been working really closely with the neighbors.
So from single to
No, they
multi?
haven't. But okay.
Okay, well, they've been working with the neighbors for about 2 years.
And where is that? Can you put that for us in
So we're at
perspective?
Town Line Road. And
What neighbors are you speaking of that they would be talking to? Yeah,
not sure.
right, no, they're not speaking to us.
Well, I'm sorry, I understood that they did.
Okay,
So
well,
they-
that's one of our concerns.
Okay.
I guess I can put that down, as
Yeah.
we're being told that we're being
Yeah, please do,
a part of
because
it,
I
but we're
wasn't
not.
aware of that.
Okay.
Was there a map change?
So this reflects the request that that property owner has.
Just a request.
When's it being voted on?
So the entire plan is going to be adopted in January, and that would include a decision on that change.
Is there anything, how do we get a hold of when meetings are for that specific piece?
For that specific
And,
piece.
yes.
So now it's rolled into the whole comp plan update, and so that's on the city's website. And I have a few copies. I might need to make a few more, but of the project schedule in case anybody didn't get to the website and didn't see the project schedule.
See, normally they do it, every
Individually,
year.
yeah.
This year they're sneaking
Shoving
it
everything in.
That's not true, actually. They had a special meeting at the Plan Commission for this. Exactly. We used all
Yeah,
the same
except,
steps
you know
that
what,
we
I'm a
always
neighbor
do.
that backs up to that, and we weren't notified at all of this, and we saw floor plans, and we're still not being notified. That is upsetting as residents, because we're just getting, might as well just run the steamroller right over us. There's no say, and then you're just gonna roll in it all into one big happy bundle, and so, you just said the neighbors are being talked to. No, they're not. No, they're not.
So we followed the same procedure that we do every year for the comp plan amendments. So we just added, there's actually more steps this year because we're doing the full plan, not less.
When are the next meetings for all of that? You said it's January.
So for the comp plan, the next meeting would be, there's a council of the whole meeting for basically just discussion. That's on December 2nd. That's the council meeting where they discuss issues and they don't take any action. But there is a public comment section, so if you want to make comments.
So
at that
December
meeting.
2nd.
Yep. And then the next public meeting would be January 20th for the public hearing.
And there's
Yeah.
a schedule of the
Project schedule's on the city
right.
website.
There is if you go to the Lake Geneva City website, there is a schedule of all the
Right.
comprehensive plan
For me,
important dates.
because I'm not so well versed that I haven't figured out the ins and outs of everything that you guys are doing. I don't know which ones are important and which ones, because
Yeah.
they just keep rolling out. And you don't know which one, if you miss that one, it's going to be, the one that makes a difference.
Right.
So that's what I just, as a city as somebody who lives in the city, I would like my alderman to at least let us know
Yeah.
when something that directly affects you
Right.
is happening.
Well, I would
and we're not
absolutely-
having that
You need to
happen.
express that to your alder as well.
We have, and I haven't heard anything from them.
Now, is this the Wolf Dunham plan?
But Bender property is what we're now calling it. Yep.
You're calling it Bender now?
Yep. So that was one change. Let me try to get my.
Is Bender the developer or?
That's the property owner who owns
Oh,
the.
Wolf is still the developer?
He's only the
Totally
apartment.
sure.
He's
Yeah,
part of
he's
the
involved,
apartments.
but yeah, there's multiple uses proposed here, so I'm not sure who all is involved.
Did you show the YMCA where they're
So the
going?
new YMCA location is right here. Will be there, I should say. But we did not actually have to change the map for that because it's already shown for private recreation. What else? There really weren't a lot of changes. A few things we actually did were, first of all, we did not show any more outward growth on the future land use map. So for example, this neighborhood is one example of an area where it's not currently developed, but it's shown on the future land use map for a future planned neighborhood. So a predominantly single-family neighborhood with a mix of other dwelling unit types.
Is that Hummel?
Yeah.
Is that the Hummel land?
So that's an example of an area that's not
It's not
developed
anymore.
today, but is shown for growth on this map. So in the future, this is an area where the city would
Could
grow.
be,
Could grow, yes.
Could grow.
Could grow, right.
or not.
Right. So where am I going with this? Oh yeah, so we did not actually show any new areas for growth beyond what we were showing in your current comprehensive plan. The reason for that is because we actually had a fair amount of areas shown for growth on the last plan, and due to the recession, a lot of that growth that we thought might happen didn't actually happen, this being one of them. And so we did not, based on the city's population projections, there was really not a need to show
So
more.
just do infill
Yes,
development?
we're strongly recommending stick to infill development, redevelopment, so outdated development that's not working for you anymore, those are opportunities for new development. We also noted there are a few areas, this blue line is that right? Yep, the blue line is the urban service area, so the Regional Plan Commission approves where the city can provide urban services like water and sewer. So we made sure all those areas, so that's another natural growth boundary for the city of Lake Geneva. So we made sure those areas were shown for future growth. But in the old plan, we actually had a few areas that were outside of that urban service boundary that were shown for future growth, and we figured it's kind of a long shot that those would get developed in the 10-year outlook or the 20-year outlook of that plan. So there are a few locations where we actually pulled back the proposed growth area to reflect the fact that the likelihood of those happening anytime soon is pretty low.
What's the difference between private recreation and public park and recreation? Because I noticed the Hillmore property.
Right. So
is
that's another natural thing I know everyone wants to talk about. So this is former Hillmore Golf Course. In your current plan, it's shown for private recreation. So that's in the plan. That's defined as something like a resort or a golf course, or something, a commercial enterprise, but with a tourism focus. So that, and then obviously that's a private recreation would be privately owned, and then the other green color, public park and recreation, so that's publicly owned, open to everyone. So public parks, city parks, things like that. And so this, I should finish this thought. So this is what it was designated as in the 2009 planning process, because there was at that time hope that a golf course would come back to Hillmore, and it's been 10 years, actually it's been longer than that, and that hasn't come to fruition. So now the city is looking at different alternatives for that site.
There's
Would there be a zoning change then?
Not part of this process, but in order for anything to happen on this site, there would need to be a zoning change.
there's no plans for a light or anything on Town Line and Edwards, but you're putting multifamily off of Town Line?
So that type of detail is an important detail, but not really part of this planning process, because it's we're really looking big picture on what the land uses are. So just because we're showing this for multifamily or whatever, does not mean there wouldn't be a light. And I know for a fact that the city is going to study that.
Well, it kind of needs one now if you,
Right.
before you put even more.
Right, and so this
traffic
property,
on the
just to
road.
clarify too, this needs to get approved through the comprehensive plan process, and then they need to come in for their zoning and get approvals for that. And so if they do this study for the light and they find out they need one, then that's the time when they would make that happen. So we're just like, it's a little early still, and that's the only reason you don't see it.